It's week 2, man. Offseason's here. We have nothing but hurricanes and NBA playoff blowouts. So how you guys doing this week?
I'm lost, dude. I don't really know what to do, man. The NBA playoffs are pretty good, man. I guess for the most part they're entertaining, but it just sucks that we're not there again. So go A's, I guess. Go Canes. Go Canes. Yeah, that's
Hey,
it.
you heard about the A's? Think about moving?
Yeah. Hey, come on to Charlotte. I'm all with it.
Yeah,
come on, baby.
That would be
Let's go.
dope. I don't know why there's like this aversion to Major League Baseball in Charlotte. But that would be super dope.
Hey man, just build that stadium in South Park. Let's get it cracking, man.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Hey, no, we need to be in North Lake.
Hey man, wherever.
They trying to get shot at the games. They leave Oakland. They leave Oakland. They go into Oakland.
No. Hear me out. You tear down the mall, make it a mixed-use development, gentrify the area because it's in a convenient location. 485, 77. I'm telling you, I think these things through.
Yeah, that's not controversial at all. Yeah,
not at all. Yeah,
look, I went to North Lake a few weeks ago. Like, damn, where did all the stores go?
Hey,
wow.
We remember what killed East Lamar, and it's about to kill North Lake, and it might kill Carolina Place Mall. There was a shooting in the damn mall 2 weeks ago. Charlotteans not gonna put up. Y'all know how Charlotteans are. These people and their money, they're not gonna put up with that. They'll go South Park like yes.
No, but we never act like people don't get robbed at South Park.
But see, it's different in getting robbed at South Park because people know you got to go to South Park, you got money. But you getting shot at in Carolina Place Mall, that's different. The same thing happens.
Kazi, you get shot at Concord Mills too.
You get shot there too, yes. I mean, you might buy some meth at Concord Mills too. Run at a meth lab in the damn mall. Yo, Charlotte wild, man.
Charlotte wild.
Oh wow.
That's why the A's on the move here. They're like, shit, this is just like Oakland. Shit.
It's like Oakland.
It's like a big Oakland. No.
Fit right in. Hey, man, fans, I need y'all to watch the Carolina Hurricanes. The Nashville Predators series was exciting.
No, hey, look, man, it stressed me out in a good way, bro.
Yes, 3 straight overtime games. You got a game 6 overtime win. I mean, that was, man. And the thing is, the Predators weren't that good, but the Hurricanes were missing Jacob Slavin, and the series was a lot closer than it needed to be. And it was one of those series where, like, you know, the Predators knew they weren't as good as the Hurricanes, but they felt like, man, we could win this. And when they didn't, they were salty. They unfollowed the Hurricanes on Twitter, which I was like, they didn't just unfollow, they blocked them on Twitter.
And then tried to say it was photoshopped.
Right. No. Y'all was salty. Y'all
Twitter was hacked.
Right.
Yeah. So now they play Tampa in the next round, which, you know,
Today at 5:00, by the way.
Yes, Charlotte and Tampa, because of the Bucks Panthers already have a little bit of a intercity rivalry. I expect that to be a really good series, y'all. So
yeah, check them out.
Yeah, they're our de facto NHL team.
We're gonna steal them. Look, in true Charlotte fashion, we'll steal them when they're good.
Yeah,
because from like
back to Raleigh.
Yeah. When they
from 08 to 2018, I didn't care. Like the who?
Hey man, go Canes, man. We have nothing else, man.
Gotcha. So guys, man, it's a slow week, and Jamal brought up this topic. Would you extend James Borrego at this point? Knowing what he has had to deal with as far as like expectation and exceeding the expectation, and just kind of the Hornets actually going through a rebuild under his watch and it being successful thus far. Would you go ahead and try to lock him up for another 2 or 3 years, or would you just kind of just do a wait and see approach?
I'll take this one first since I brought up the topic. The first answer to your question, hell yeah. This comes to no surprise for people who actually know the game. Not the LaMelo stance who's mad he didn't play 38 minutes a game, but this comes to no surprise, man. Mitch Kupchak has been singing his praises consistently all season. And you mentioned all the factors that he's had to deal with, especially all the injuries, managing a rookie, such a commodity like LaMelo Ball, managing Gordon Hayward's injuries, Malik Monk, and just everything, COVID-related issues. All this stuff that this unique season has presented to us, man. And considering all those things, and I know that the way we ended the season was pretty ugly. We didn't like the way it ended, but if you look at what he's consistently done throughout the season, it was a no-brainer, dude. And I just, to me, it's hardly news, but it's what we got today. But at the same time, it was expected. Now, to the second part of your question, as far as extending him beyond what he's extended now, let's make no mistake about it. Everything I just said is true, but let's make no mistake about it. The next 2 seasons are auditions for that next extension. The Hornets got to make the playoffs next year, because I think there's really probably no excuse not to if we stay healthy. I mean, look at how we competed when we were healthy, and not to sidetrack too much, but it really sucks looking at these teams in the playoffs and thinking, damn, man, we could really compete with a lot of these teams, man. We beat a lot of these teams during the season. And it sucks seeing that and knowing that, man, if we stayed healthy and stayed consistent all season, we could be watching our guys right now. So to answer your question, man, next season, I'm not going to say it's going to – maybe his seat is a little warm if the Hornets don't make the playoffs. But again, man, I just think it's an audition, and I think we'll be fine. I think he'll be fine going forward. So, yeah.
Kaiser Sose.
Yeah, this is this next season is going to be the season for James Borrego. We see that with a lot of players. Hey, this season is going to be the make or break season. I think this season is the make or break season for Borrego. He's finally going to have his team. The remnants of the old regime will all be gone. There will be no one left, assuming that Cody Zeller, Bismack, and Monk are all gone. So he's developed these players. He's got a young superstar in LaMelo Ball. Miles Bridges looks like he's going to possibly be an all-star caliber player. And you got Gordon Hayward and Terry Rozier. Now, what are you going to do with it? And I think if the Hornets show improve, I think if they're as good as we think they may be, then I think that he'll get another extension, because I do think that you want to give him a chance with LaMelo Ball throughout a good portion of LaMelo Ball's career before he has to make that choice of whether to become a free agent or not, which ain't going to be for like another 5 years. But I do think you got to give Borrego a chance. I don't think you want to do like they did. I'm drawing a blank. LeBron's first coach. He really didn't have a chance to really be LeBron James coach before the Cavs said, okay, we're gonna try something else. I don't think the Hornets want to do that. I think they really want LaMelo Ball to develop under James Borrego, and as a result, I think that's one of the reasons why they gave him the 1 year extension and kind of like, okay, let's see what you got.
And let me interrupt, Kaza, because I think that's not talked about enough as far as the relationship between Borrego and LaMelo Ball. And from the outside looking in, it just kind of looks like LaMelo Ball actually takes a liking to Borrego's coaching. Like, he doesn't mind being coached, which is really encouraging for a young 19-year-old player. You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't mind when Borrego I don't know, kind of corrects his ills, for lack of a better term. We saw examples during the season where LaMelo would have, let's just say, a very rookie-like game, and maybe didn't get the minutes that the fans thought he deserved. And LaMelo Ball had always responded to that, man, and I just don't think that's talked about enough.
Yeah, it's weird because people think James Borrego punishes players for their mistakes. That is not true. James Borrego is sometimes, I think, he gives his players too much leeway. The Martin twins shouldn't have the green light to shoot threes 3 seconds to the shot clock, but yet they do. Malik Monk had a bigger green light under James Borrego than he ever did under Coach Clifford.
Absolutely.
Which is why people are like, man, Monk wants to go somewhere where he's wanted. It's like, how much more wanted could you be? You failed phase 1 of the drug program. The team did not eliminate your contract, kept you on, and you still averaged 25 minutes a game after that. James Borrego is a very freewheeling kind of coach, and I think LaMelo Ball likes that, and I think that's good for him. And I think that's good for the Hornets because LaMelo Ball's play style, it kind of adheres to that kind of coaching philosophy. Push the pace, shoot a lot of threes, throw alley-oops, do all that stuff. Danny, what's up, man?
We have a special guest, Danny, who actually ran away from Charlotte to move to Virginia to be safe. So, Danny, can you give your opinion on this?
He ain't going there to be safe. I live in Virginia.
This is the last place.
I don't know what part of Virginia you moved to, buddy.
Ain't nobody running from nothing. Don't talk my business out the street. I'm still in these Charlotte streets. What I'm talking about. No, the topic about James Borrego getting extension. I don't mind the extension as long as it's not a long-term extension.
Right.
And when I mean by long-term extension, I'm not saying a 5 or 6 year deal because we're not going to know where we're going to look in 5 or 6 years. I think tacking on an extra year or two to what he already has, I think it's a good placeholder. I don't know if JB is the guy that's going to get this team to the championship expectations that this fan base wants to see in the upcoming years. Now, I still think there's still a lot of development time left. And I think JB can provide a lot of that development. Contrary to what some of the fan base thinks of James Borrego, he's done an outstanding job of what he has. This team, literally before the wheels fell off in the West Coast road trip, was literally the 4th seed in the Eastern Conference. And if you go back to what Mitch Kupchak said, in exit interviews, he was more surprised of where this team was at that point. Mm-hmm. Yes, Charlotte had injuries like everybody else. It's just that Charlotte's injuries came literally at the worst time of the year. When people say, "Oh, Washington had injuries," they had COVID. They had that back in December and January.
Right.
We all know when it comes to basketball, you peak at the playoff time, not during the season.
And Danny, let me know if you agree with this statement or not, man. Because I've always said that the Hornets are a team where we kind of need all of our guys. And what I mean by that, like if we're Brooklyn and KD goes down for a while and James Harden goes down for a while, they still got Kyrie Irving and Joe Harrison, a pretty deep team. Whereas the Hornets, if we lose a few guys, it's just that much more important for us because we're just simply not as talented as some of those contending teams, I should say.
I mean, you look at Brooklyn, for example, or look at Milwaukee. You look at Brooklyn. Brooklyn has 3 of the top 12 players in the world on their roster. So if KD misses time, like you said, James Harden and Kyrie picks up the slack. If 2 of those guys miss time, it's okay because you still have 1 left. If you look at Charlotte and you look at the ranking of players, in my opinion, I don't think Charlotte has a player in the top 40 in the NBA right now, and that includes LaMelo Ball. Because I don't judge rookies. I give rookies at least 2 years before I give them a fair judgment. Because we've seen guys have outstanding rookie years and fall on the face of the earth, Tyler Hero, in year number 2.
Don't bring up Tyler Hero.
Oh my God! Please don't bring that name up today, boy. Good Lord.
But there's also guys who were terrible in year 1 that had a year 2 that was phenomenal. So, I mean, people bagged RJ Barrett in year 1, but look at RJ Barrett in year 2.
Right.
So I don't look at rookies in year 1 and year 2. I look at them around year 3. Even we look at Ja Morant. Morant was phenomenal as a rookie, but he's been even better in year number 2. Zion, he was great for 20 games as a rookie, but you look at him in year 2, he was no different than he was in year 1. It's just the fact that he played more games. There wasn't much of a difference. So I think when you look at Borrego, I think you give him 2 years. We have another lottery pick coming in. I still think a summer finding out what Vernon Carey and Nick Richards and those guys, because their contracts are guaranteed next year. We're not talking about
Chris, you hear that?
Hey, Chris, you hear that, man? You may see your boys next season.
But I think they still want to see what they have. I think the good news is we have Summer League. We will have Summer League on August 8th. Charlotte will have a 1-week summer league with these guys to see what they have to go with. I don't think LaMelo's going to be with them because he doesn't need to be there.
Yeah, he doesn't need to be there.
But I think you get a chance to see extended run. Now, what I really want to see is where Charlotte is working in the draft lottery. Mitch said it in like I said, he said it a couple days ago. This team needs more talent. So I don't think they're going to take a center at the 11th or 12th pick unless it's the best player on the board.
And the thing is, like, I get it, man. I get that fans who talk ad nauseum about we center. But when it comes to the draft itself, Mitch Kupchak's approach has always been just to take the best talent available instead of what we need. Because if you start talking about taking what we need, then you're gonna stretch.
Yeah,
you're gonna reach.
I don't think you should ever in the NBA draft for need.
Unless you are picking in the 20s.
20, right, yeah. And a lot of times, those picks will get dealt. We've seen Charlotte do that in the past. That's how they got Marco Benelli a few years ago. You know, what are they going to do with the 22nd pick? Nothing. I will say this. You brought up a good point about Borrego not being the guys to get the Hornets to the championship level that fans expect, and I completely agree with that. But I don't know if there's such thing as a championship caliber coach. If you look at coaches, especially over the last decade that have won championships, look at those teams. Look at the talent on those teams. You got Steph Curry, LeBron. Of course, Eric Spoelstra is going to win the championship. Look at the team that he had to coach. Look at the San Antonio Spurs of 2014. The Golden State Warriors. I mean, those are one of the greatest teams, to ever see the court. I don't think if you took any of those three coaches, the last three coaches to win a championship, but besides, I forgot about, Nick Nurse and the Raptors. But, like, does anyone think that, like, Nick Nurse, if you made him the Hornets coach, the Hornets with the talent that they have are instantly a championship caliber team?
Right.
I don't think so. You gotta have the players first.
Let me ask you this. Well, let me ask everyone a question. Would James Borrego deserve to be a coach of a championship roster, or does that remain to be seen?
It just depends on the further development of the team. If the team is consistently progressing and the players are getting better and the right rotations are made and no playoff disappointments, I mean, he deserves that opportunity as long as he is progressing. But once you get the feeling that we're stagnant, kind of like a Brett Brown situation, you got to make that move.
Yeah.
Excellent point.
I could.
You got to give him a chance.
Yeah, I could see this being like a Mark Jackson situation where you develop these players, you get them to the playoffs, and then they can't perform when they're there. That was the issue with Mark Jackson, is that he had the two greatest shooters in the history of the NBA, and they couldn't get out of the first round. If that
and he did bad stuff.
We'll talk. Yeah, that's
no. We got to give context for people that's going to scream Mark Jackson.
That's true. But as far as we know, Borrego's not doing any of that.
Well, first off, we can kill the rumor. Mark Jackson's not going anywhere. Mark Jackson's only job will be on television for the 10 millionth time.
Yeah.
Because if Mark Jackson, think about this, Mark Jackson would have had how many coaching vacancies have been in the NBA since Mark Jackson left Golden State?
I mean, damn near all of them.
Yeah,
except for San Antonio. I think every job has been open but San Antonio.
Right.
In Miami. San Antonio, Miami.
Yeah, San Antonio, Miami are the only two jobs that he hasn't been since fired. And you hear the name, but how many interviews has he had?
Zero. So, I can answer that. Zero.
So for the people screaming Mark Jackson, the four of us have a better chance of being an NBA head coach before Mark Jackson goes behind anybody's bench anytime soon. And there are reasons behind that, and Mark Jackson knows why he doesn't have a job as a head coach. But to this point, I think if Borrego gets his team to the playoffs, he deserves to see how far they can go under his coaching. He deserves that. Like I said, but we don't know what a championship caliber coach looks like, because when you mentioned before, Steve Kerr was never a head coach in the NBA, and he took a team to a championship. Tyronn Lue, the same way. Nick Nurse.
Steve Nash.
Listen, we can't crown them just yet. Okay,
they're not getting past Milwaukee.
Are you betting on Giannis in the playoffs again? Are we doing this again?
I put money on that. It's a different team. It's a whole different
head coach.
I can't bet against Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, James Harden, Blake Griffin, and Joe Harris.
Did the Bucks change? The Bucks change head coaches in the last 24 hours? Because
but guess what they did? They changed personnel. They're a way deeper team and better team.
But they still have the same head coach.
It is important to note Dante DiVincenzo is out for the rest of the playoffs. It is important to note that Drew Holiday has been one hell of an upgrade over Eric Bledsoe as well. So do whatever you want to with that information.
So let me ask you a question. So has somebody with their defense ranked in the bottom half of the league ever won a championship?
Has anybody in the NBA at any point in time had 3 offensive players that can do what those 3 can do at any point in time?
Hey, man, I seen the Golden State Warriors lose to LeBron and the Cavs. I'm just putting it out there.
Not with Kevin Durant.
Y'all save something for next week.
We're going to say this for next week. We're going to say this for next week. Defense is important and you're underselling it. I think you're underselling it.
Speaking of
Giannis is going to have a party next week.
Speaking of defense, man, I guess the word that comes to mind with this team defensively is inconsistent. And is that, do you guys feel like that's just a part of the process with a young team? And should that be like a focus for James Borrego and the Hornets going forward next season? Because look, I'll put it to you like this: look at how bad we were defensively this last month of the season, and that did us in, man. So what do you guys think about that?
Young guys don't play defense. And we just don't have traditional two-way guys. A lot of these guys play one side of the ball. We don't have that true defensive anchor to me. Biyombo is good in spurts, but he's not consistent to me. And you got to look at the season, man. It was a shortened season with no training camp, no time to really practice in between games and stuff like that. So we're going to see some type of improvement next year. And I think we'll add some more defensive pieces to this team next year.
I think we look at the roster losing, and people hate Cody Martin, but losing Cody Martin down the stretch hurt. You know, he was one of the guys that could actually win on the perimeter. And even JB mentioned it. He's the guy that he allowed the best players in the other team to be guarded by Cody Martin, because in Charlotte's case, if you really be honest, Miles, Cody, and Terry Rozier, when he was focused on defense, were the only 3 guys that you can leave one-on-one defensively and be okay with it. Everybody else you had to play zone. So when people are complaining about the zone defense, it's not because James Borrego forced zone. It's because nobody else can play man-to-man defense on this roster. You know,
yeah, I think
the comment about Nick Richards will improve the defense. Nick Richards still has to learn defensive rotations in the NBA. Why he didn't see the court? Because he couldn't rotate defensively.
Thank you.
A lot of people missed out with Richards and Carey. They were slow, very, very slow. One, getting back in transition defense and defensive rotations. And when they were on their spots, they couldn't defend without fouling. It's really as simple as that. Vernon Carey would have got a lot more playing time if he didn't get 2 fouls in the first 3 minutes.
Well, Vernon Carey also defensively, I hate to say this, he looks like Jahlil Okafor defensively.
That's strong.
Let's go back to the Chicago game. He picked up 2 fouls against Vucevic, but Vucevic basically is not exactly Usain Bolt when it comes to sprinting. But
I was going to say he's slower than me. Yeah, let's not be nice about it.
But Vernon Carey was getting out hustled.
Right.
By Vucevic on multiple possessions. And if you watch him defensively, Brooklyn has no interior players, so that game against Brooklyn doesn't count. But you go against guys in the post, I think it was Jokic and other guys, he's just slow-footed defensively. Okay, it's okay in college when you have guys behind you that can erase or defend. Mm-hmm. Vernon Carey is slow-footed, and it's kind of scary. Now Nick Richards can run around and bounce like Tigger from Winnie the Pooh, but there's a reason why he was a 2nd-round pick, because he allows athleticism to make up for the things he lacks on the IQ side of the court.
JaVale McGee.
So there's nothing wrong with JaVale.
No,
but have JaVale here.
Yeah, I'd love to have him too. He's got a lot of bounce. He pushed the ball. LaMelo would love to pass it to him, but like you said, his basketball IQ leaves much to be desired. I see that also in Nick Richards, and I'm rooting for both of those guys. I really want Vernon Carey and Nick Richards to at least be as serviceable as Cody Zeller and Bismack Biyombo were, and I think they could get there.
I don't want to see Andre Drummond in the Hornets uniform. That's all I don't.
Hell no. Look, we're seeing the reasons why we've been saying no. Watching him play for the Lakers, and you have to hear the Lakers fans just like, yo, this guy does not make anything better. It's just empty. Like his game is empty.
Listen, I saw a graphic, and there was some anonymous GM who said Andre Drummond could have 25 points and 20 rebounds in a game and make no impact on the game. And I think a lot of people didn't make sense of that, but if you watch the Lakers play, it makes total sense.
There's a reason why Detroit and Cleveland gave him away for a 4-for-4 for Windows. You have to think that what Detroit gave him away for John Henson and Brandon Knight. Like
in a second round pick.
And a second round pick, and they were happy to get that. Cleveland had there were no takers for him. They had nothing. So Drummond is an empty stat guy. I hate to say he's an overblown Kevin Love in Minnesota. He doesn't do much.
Kind of like another center who played here a few years ago.
I was just gonna say, we all remember the Dwight Howard experiment.
I don't want to say those words because that still stings. And
I just can't. Real quick, when I think about that, I cannot believe that team didn't make the playoffs. I just can't. I mean, looking back in hindsight, I see why, but on paper,
you look at
Eastern Conference. Kim Walker, Jeremy Lamb, Nick Batum, and Dwight Howard aren't on the playoffs.
I'll say this much about that team. I think our former guy Vince was spot on when he said this, man. We didn't go with the young guys quick enough. We stuck with the old guard. It was too much Marvin, too much Nick, too much MKG, and we should have played those young guys a lot sooner than later, man. I think if we would have that season, we probably would have been in the playoffs. I think it's that simple.
I still think
they just weren't that good.
They weren't that good.
I think that season really sealed Steve Clifford's fate because Howard was his guy. That was what he wanted. He wanted Dwight Howard and then Kemba Walker running the show. And they said, okay, well, here's your team. This is the team you built and you want it. And they sucked. So
Dwight Howard got Steve Clifford fired.
Probably.
No, I think Steve Clifford's ability not to adapt to times in basketball got him fired.
Danny, let me ask you a question, man. Do you get any sense that Borrego will have any input on roster moves this offseason?
We all have input in life. That doesn't mean he will say this guy will make sense, but this is still Mitch's job at the end of the day. Everybody has input. It's all on Mitch. This is a Mitch job. When people blame Borrego for, he put this roster together, he didn't. He said this millions of times.
No, he didn't. I
didn't put this roster together.
Right.
Let me ask you this
real quick.
What do you think the relationship between Mitch and Borrego is like? Because Borrego has made statements like the one you just said. Hey, I didn't put this roster together. Hey, we've needed a center for a million years now, and I don't have one, and I'm just kind of doing what I can with Cody and Biz. Do you think that there's a little bit of friction there because Mitch isn't giving Borrego the roster that he wants?
I think their relationship is fine. I think it's still workable. I think that as a coach, you would want to have more say-so with your roster the way it's put together. Or you would hope that your general manager will go out and get something, if you need help. It was what we all know, Trader Mitch doesn't make trades.
Nope.
Mitch Kupchak doesn't make trades at all. He builds his team through the draft. He builds his team organically. Unfortunately, it did not do well this year. In the talent level, get there, but I don't think there's much friction between point A and point B. They have a good working relationship. I think JB wishes he had more control on his say-so and players he's getting.
Let me man, since we have it here, man, we got like a little bit to catch up on because we didn't get to talk to you last week, man. So real quick about Gordon Hayward's injury, man. So it was when he first got hurt, man, we were hearing 4 to 6 weeks, and then we got to week 7 and he still wasn't playing. Borrego seemed to be highly annoyed anytime someone from the press asked about Gordon Hayward, man. What's your take on that entire situation, man? What was going on with the organization of Gordon Hayward? And why were they being so damn secretive?
Because the thing is, you don't want to set remember, we watched LaMelo Ball thing go left pretty quick when they announced that he was out for the rest of the season.
Right.
And then like Tecmo Bowl, he shows back up, at the end of the season.
Right.
So I don't think they wanted to put an expectation on Gordon. The only thing that we saw from Gordon was the fact that he took the boot off and he was warming up. The injury was 8 weeks. It was 6 to 8 weeks. When it goes, there's different types of injuries with that foot. If it's in a cast or a walking boot, it's 6 to 8 weeks minimum. Okay, so the opening Saturday of the playoffs was week number 8. I mean, the only way we saw Hayward was the playoffs.
Right.
So you mean to tell me being in the walking boot isn't like a hamstring injury?
For someone who's been in a walking boot before, no. That's annoying. It's a pain in the ass. But no, it's not a hamstring injury.
Okay. I just want to make sure that we were right in our assessment to people like.
Also, man, what are you talking about, man? Bradley Beal is a warrior.
Yeah, Bradley Beal is a warrior. And Gordon Hayward should have been playing. He should have sucked it up and went out there and played because Bradley Beal did.
Did you hear Bradley Beal also said this wasn't the smartest idea of me coming back either in that first play in game? It wasn't the smartest idea.
Hello.
I mean, he said it was the smartest idea, but also hamstrings and feet are different, especially when you have a history of foot problems. Right. We all know Gordon Hayward, he has that history. And I know to some, the people that didn't want Gordon Hayward because of the injury history is like, I told you so. But in the 44 games he played, they were 24-20. So it's kind of like a catch-22. Was Gordon Hayward worth $120 million? I think we all agree to this day that we wouldn't have paid him.
Right.
But in the NBA standards, nobody was running to take Charlotte's money. Nobody was.
Let me ask you about that. Oh, go ahead. You finish your point.
No. Go ahead, Cos. I'm about to answer it. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, part of the reason why they signed Gordon Hayward was because he opted out a year early. And the talk was that Gordon Hayward would be a target for what would be this offseason. Because if you look at the free agent list this offseason, like you said, nobody's going to be running to take Charlotte's money. However, things have kind of changed. I don't think anyone expected the ascension of LaMelo Ball and the popularity of the Charlotte Hornets. So if you look at this year and next year's free agent class, I'm looking at it, and it's a bunch of names. But there's no one that I'm thinking, man, that person might want to come to Charlotte. Is there anyone that you guys could see on that free agent list that would want to come to Charlotte, at least enough to where we can say, man, we should have held out for that player instead of going after Gordon when he was available?
No.
I mean, but also with big name free agents, a lot of them, it's hard to lose guaranteed money on that 5th year. So, I mean, I don't think Kawhi Leonard was going to run down here when he opts out from the Clippers when they get eliminated. I don't think Kawhi Leonard's going to say, you know what, let me go to Charlotte and let me change the Hornets situation. A New Balance guy's not going to do that. But I do think Montrezl Harrell is regretting not taking the Charlotte
that money
last summer. I think he's regretting that. I think for this summer, if I'm Charlotte and I'm looking at Mitch Kupchak, who said once again he is looking to upgrade this roster without putting his team in salary cap hell, like the last regime did. If I'm Charlotte, the one guy I would target would be Rashawn Holmes of Sacramento.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Me and you have talked about this before. Are you comfortable paying Rashawn Holmes up to $20-25 million a year?
I'm not.
I don't think he gets that. I think he gets 18, because here's the thing. Only a certain number of teams have $20 million plus in cap space, and Charlotte's one, I think, of 7 teams that have it. Okay. Mm-hmm. If you look at New York's not about to pay Rashawn Holmes $25 million a year.
No.
Not when New York potentially could end up with Kawhi Leonard and Julius Randle going forward.
And they already have Mitchell Robinson on the roster as well.
And you still have Nerlens Noel. I don't see Miami spending Rashawn Holmes money because guess what? You got Bam Adebayo under contract.
Right.
So Chicago's not going to do it because they got Vucevic. So if you look at the teams that have cap space and Rashawn Holmes wants to play with somebody that can run up and down the court, you would love Charlotte, for example. I don't see Charlotte. I mean, the free agent big market isn't very good, so Charlotte might have to overpay. The good news is Terry Rozier's contract does come off the books in the following summer. If you sign Rashawn Holmes, maybe, as we all learned, they're going to explore what they can get for Terry Rozier. They would be dumb not to. You have to explore, especially with 1 year left on the deal. You have to see what you can get for it. Not necessarily you're going to have to trade it, but you just have to see what the draft looks like. You have to see what workouts look like. I don't know too much in this market this year, but I really think that if it's anybody's Rashawn Holmes that you spend the money on, next year's free agent class, we'll get to next year because Stephen Curry's a free agent, potentially.
Stop it. Don't start. Please don't. Please.
He's
Danny.
not coming here.
He's not coming.
Hey, stranger things have happened in the league.
The only thing stranger things happening is the Indiana Fever's jersey. That's the only thing that's going to be stranger things. Those jerseys are fire, by the way. But no, I don't see. I think somebody says teams are running the clear cap space. Teams are not running the clear cap space this summer. They're not doing it. Okay. Most of these teams lost money this year because they didn't have fans for 2/3 of the season. Teams ain't running to go clear cap space.
Right.
Okay. They're not running. Next summer, we can talk next summer, but this summer, it's not much of the market. Everybody re-upped.
I kind of see a lot of teams kind of staying put this summer, just because of all the reasons you said, man.
I think New York will be the one that goes out because New York has $60 million in cap space,
and plus they're a $4 billion franchise as well. So yeah,
but New York,
five. Sorry,
but New York still has to deal with Julius Randle, which I think,
you have to max him. You have to max him.
But do you max him after this playoff series?
Good question.
If there's no playoffs and the season ended, you max Julius Randle off what he did this year.
Yeah.
But in the first 3 games of that playoff series against Atlanta,
he's been terrible.
It's people don't understand. Playoff basketball is so different. The game slows down. It's just different, and he's gonna have to figure it out. I mean, I still got faith in Randle to figure it out. I don't expect him to win the series, but he's gonna have to figure it out.
The Knicks have to make a big move. They have to. I mean, mainly because they're the New York Knicks. You know, you reverse the roles with the Hornets and kind of stay put a little bit. But now that, the New York Knicks were a 5th seed, so there's these expectations that come with being a team in New York. And
they were 4 seed. They had home court.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So now the expectations are really big. The expectation next season from Knicks fans is going to be so astronomically high. You've got to do something to try and match those expectations. The Knicks cannot trot that same team out next year, even if it's a 4th seed team. They can't do it. They got to make a move to try and be up there with Milwaukee and Brooklyn. I mean, the team in their same city is, even though the Nets aren't as popular, shockingly, they're the better team. They're probably going to win the championship this year, but they're going to win the championship before the Knicks do. Who beat Brooklyn?
That's like saying like the Panthers are going to be 500. We don't know that.
Hey, you stop that. Don't start that, man.
Come on now.
That's like saying,
come on.
That's like saying Julio suits up for the Falcons next year. We don't know that.
Oh, he's gonna be a Patriot. He's already said.
Listen, we're not doing this on Sunday.
Maybe I mean, why not?
You know,
For a week.
Robbie Anderson might be a trader, man. Who knows, bro?
Hey, y'all trade for Sam Darnold, not us. Leave us out of this.
Hey, Daddy, what you can do is you can just take one of the ones off of Julio Jones' jersey I don't know who's number one for the Falcons, man, but you can just rock your Falcons jersey like that, man, because he's going, brother.
Well, you can take that one off, scratch your name out, and put Thompson on the back.
I mean, listen, the crazy thing is we'll trade Julio still be better than y'all this year.
We'll see.
So this is a good segue.
Hey man, no. We got one more thing, man. Danny, what'd you feel about Michael Jordan's foundation philanthropy efforts, giving money? Because you really know Michael Jordan is kind of selfish in the eyes of others.
I think as he's gotten older, I think he's starting to give back more. I think that, I think a lot of people probably have put a lot of perspective in Jordan's ear about giving back to people, or the people that are following your footsteps. I mean, he's done so much for the community as far as like brand awareness. So why not be able to help out others? I think he's seeing that as he's getting older. I mean, Jordan didn't do much when he wasn't like this when he was a player.
Well,
he wasn't like as much as he's been giving, not as much.
Not to this level. No.
So I think now, I think he's starting to realize how much of a platform he has. I think we watched the 30 for 30 for years. Jordan was caught up in the image of what was going on.
Right.
And now he realized he is the image. Like when he says something, people listen.
Right.
You know what messing the money.
I think Jordan was always very secretive about the things that he did. Like I found out recently that Michael Jordan was one of the people who funded Spike Lee's Malcolm X back in the 90s. Because the studios, there was some disagreement over who was originally going to direct it. The guy who was originally going to direct it was a friend of Spike Lee's, but he was Jewish, and Spike Lee felt like, come on, man, you can't have a Jewish dude tell the story of Malcolm X. So the studios were like, all right, well, you're going to have to come up with your own money to fund this project if you want to do it like you did. And a lot of people came forward, and Michael Jordan was actually one of those people, him, Oprah Winfrey, a few other people. But I said that to say that I think Michael Jordan has always done things, but Michael Jordan didn't blossom in the social media era like a LeBron James, for instance. So I don't think he really realized he had that much of a platform at all. I mean, Michael Jordan does not have a social media presence at all compared to players today in the NBA. But I think, as he gets older, he realizes, I'm still Michael Jordan. So I think what's happening now is when he does these things, they get the spotlight that they deserve, because Michael Jordan is okay with people knowing that he's making these philanthropic efforts. Whereas in the past, I think it was just, hey, I'm going to give some money to the United Negro College Fund, or I'm going to fund the Smithsonian African American History Museum. And those things were just done on the back burner.
Yeah. I think Michael Jordan is, it's no think about it. We know Michael Jordan is the most competitive person you'll probably ever speak of. And I think it got to him. I think all the things even though they were false and they were overblown, but I just think all the narrative behind Michael Jordan being this super selfish guy who never gives back, I think that finally got to him, man. And I think he just got to a point just like, all right, guys, let me show you. I'm just not this guy who funds private prisons and only cares about my money, man. So I just think that turned him.
I think it turned to the point where he's telling people that he's giving money away.
Yeah.
Mike gave away money for years, just didn't tell anybody about it. So, I mean, it's like this. Now everybody wants Mike to start spending money on this franchise, on the Hornets too. That's the next thing you hear. Oh, Mike is being cheap.
Oh God!
Tell that to Nick Batum, Marvin Williams.
Yeah, right. I'll never understand the idea that Michael Jordan is cheap, considering he's overpaid for everybody.
Yeah, Gordon Hayward wouldn't say Michael Jordan's cheap. Nick Batum wouldn't say that.
As eating at Steak 48 as we speak, probably.
Right.
Man, look, Steak 48. Everybody balling there, man.
Oh boy.
Listen. Let me kill this because I ate Steak 48. Okay, I've actually eaten there. There was never a $100 limit per person there. I don't know. I think it was a different location, but it's nothing. Steak 48 is good food. It's nothing more than Ruth Chris or Morton's or any of these steakhouses. I mean, the food's really, really good, by the way, but it's nothing like, you gotta go and like
put on a tuxedo.
Yeah.
Now,
it's a real nice restaurant though.
Let me tell you what happened. Let me tell you what happened. People got their stimmies and they went there, sitting there eating $15 salads at the table for 3 hours, having loud, boisterous conversations, and they're like, no, we got to change the clientele.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, people want a way to floss with this pandemic. People, the financial situation of a lot of Americans is strained right now.
Yeah.
So if you can show, hey, I'm not hurting during the pandemic. I made this Dogecoin money, this GameStop money. You're going to stay 48. I don't know what y'all brokes are doing. Here's how we living.
Yeah. But I mean, I said, I took my wife there for our wedding dinner. After we got married, we went to Steak 48 for dinner. And I promise you, I've spent just as much of that night as I spent if I've taken her to Morton's, if I take her to Ruth Chris.
Or Chima's.
Yeah. We ate what we both had appetizers, we both had dinner, we both had dessert, and we had something to drink. I think I spent about $250 plus with a tip $250. So it was like,
which is like you said, Del Frisco's would be the same thing.
Yeah.
So it's look, man. All I gotta say is stop going there taking pictures in front of the sign with y'all cousins in slacks and Timbo boots because you are diminishing the brand and they are tired of it. So this is why we got.
Hey, wait till if they open one in North Lake. You see, they don't know how to make no money. They just need to cater.
I jumped on too. Like, y'all leave North Lake alone, all right? I mean, North Lake. Man,
North Lake is a dying mall.
It is a dying mall. That's the sad part. It's so nice.
That lost big sporting. Look, you lost a freaking. Look, I went to the other day. I'm like, man, I want to buy me a bike. I'm like, let's go to Dick's. So I got to North Lake. I'm like, yo, Dick's is gone. They lost a whole Dick's Sporting Goods, like a whole Dick's Sporting Goods, dude.
Hey, I'm telling you, we saw this with Eastland. This is how it started with Eastland. JCPenney left, and it all went downhill after that.
And North Lake's only 15 years old.
Is it 15 years old?
Yeah. North Lake is the newest mall in Charlotte.
Yeah, I knew that, but I didn't know it was 15 years old. Damn.
Yeah, well, I was just going to Chris's point, I was just going to say malls in general are kind of dying. They're always in the suburbs. If you don't live in those areas, then you got to travel to go shop with online commerce, especially since the pandemic started. A lot of people just aren't going to malls. And if you know that you can go to North Lake and get shot or go to Carolina Place and get shot, why are you going to go? I mean, it's fun because I have, I'm a 90s kid, an 80s and 90s kid. So malls are very nostalgic for me. I spent a lot of time at Eastland Mall as a teenager, a lot of time. And I remember when I was in the military and I came home on leave, and this was maybe like 2002. And I was like, yo, let's go to Eastland Mall. Everyone's like, what? Why?
What?
No.
I'm trying to get shot. What you trying to do? So the perception of malls has changed so much that I really don't see North Lake sticking around another 15. Eastland Mall was around, 35 years? I'd be shocked.
Carolina, I think North Lake goes before Carolina Place.
Yeah.
Carolina Place is right after that one.
Carolina Place is really close to Valentine, Pineville, which is
so because of location, they have a better shot at it.
I mean, let's just say more black people live in North Lake.
Huh? What'd you say, Danny?
Carolina Place will be Freedom Mall in 2 years. The way it's going.
I mean, you know what's crazy about this, man? Remember, Carolina Place used to be that distant mall that it was on the nice side.
All the way out there.
It was North Lake.
Right. You only go when you're going to buy something really nice and you're going to really spend some money. And look at us now.
Because I went to Carolina Place maybe 2 months ago. I was like, man, it's dead up here. It just reminded me of Freedom Mall in my high school years. Like, it's only like, two. Freedom Mall died when Target.
Mall used to be jumping too, man. You had the movie theater over there. It was hood then. That movie theater was always hood, but it was fun.
You never went to Freedom Mall to buy clothes. You went to Freedom Mall to buy two things. records and CDs.
Yes.
And Foot Locker. That's it. You don't go to
no, because at one point Target was in there.
Yeah.
That was the only Target in West Charlotte. So you had that. If you needed to go to Target, that was the only one to go to.
That's it.
Well, no, because my shop because the pizza place and the pizza joint was good in there too, though. Inside of Freedom Mall.
I'm all right. Let me test your Charlotte trivia here. Does anybody remember the Jordan 23 store that used to be in Freedom Mall? Anybody?
Yeah, because it was called Flight 23.
Yeah, I know Flight 23. Thank you.
Larry Jordan, Michael's brother, was the manager of that store and the one in Windsor Square on Independence Boulevard. He used to go back and forth between the stores. I remember because as a kid, I walked in there and my dad was like, "Yo, that's Michael Jordan's brother." And of course, like by association, I'm like, "Yo, he's awesome just because he's Michael Jordan's brother." But yeah, it's called Flight 23. Why it never blew up, I don't know. Yeah. He should bring that back. That store would do very well now.
Flight 23 was the baby version of what the trophy room is in Orlando is now.
Mm-hmm.
If y'all go to Orlando, the trophy room is what Flight 23 was supposed to be.
Yeah.
Like Kaza said, he should bring that back. That's a good time to bring that back, man.
Yeah, with the popularity of the Jordan brand.
Where are you going to put it, though? Where are you going to put it?
Anywhere.
You have to put it in North Lake.
Yeah, why not?
You put it uptown.
I was going to say, you put it
where?
uptown.
Once again, y'all haven't said where.
In one of those new buildings, like kind of close to the Harvey Gantt Center. Like one of those new buildings.
No, guys, you put it in the epicenter. The epicenter is
dead.
They're supposedly
you can put it, okay, if they tear down the bus depot like they've been talking about doing, there's a string of stores right across the street, right where the Spectrum Center is. Yeah, there's a black barber shop there. I think that would be there's no grease. That would be a good spot. You got to tear that bus depot down.
But here's the question, but isn't the team store right there too? So you don't put a Flight 22 next to the team store?
Bob is his team.
It's his team.
No. Listen, so you might as well let's put Flight 23 in South Park because that's the only mall that's going to survive the apocalypse. So
if you want to make money, you put it in South Park.
And you put a smaller store in Concord Mills.
There you go. Mike. Under construction, UC crew.
Give us our credit, man.
Yeah, we got the business plan. Just give us a call, bro.
I'm not running on that retail store. Y'all can kill that right now.
Oh, I ain't gonna be working there. No.
I ain't running a retail store. I did that too long. I ain't running my retail store. No, I give you credit though because you're the only person that's a real Carolinian fan because only few people have those Carolina Hurricanes jerseys.
This is what I bought this in 2006 after they won the Stanley Cup. That's how long I've had this jersey.
I have one. It's at my mom's house. I've had it since the expansion year when they were playing in Green.
Yeah. See, a lot of people are like, "Dude, how you get into hockey?" I actually was living in Minnesota, in Minneapolis, when the Whalers moved to Raleigh. And in Minneapolis, hockey is the sport. Like high school hockey, Friday night high school hockey games, we going. That's where everyone went. You went to the Friday night high school. I know, weird, right?
That is so different.
It was very odd being a black dude in Minnesota, being forced by my friends to go to a high school hockey game. But I ended up loving the sport, and I was like, man, okay, so I got to find a team to follow. And just that same year, 1995-96, the Whalers moved to Raleigh, and I said, okay, I guess I'm a Hurricanes fan now.
Hey, Kaz, I got a fun fact. I can't fit nothing from 2006.
Hockey, you can fit a hockey jersey because this is like this is just like a large.
I mean, you got to think of Rodney, but hockey is for big people anyway. Their jerseys, they're made for big people.
That's true.
That is true.
This ain't soccer.
We got to get Rodney to a game in Raleigh.
Listen, I'm all for it because if the Canes somehow get back to the Cup Finals,
we gotta go, man.
We really gotta go there.
It's Raleigh's 2.5 hour drive for me, so I'll make the drive.
2.5 months.
I got no issue making the drive to Raleigh for a Cup Finals game because I've been to one Cup Finals game already.
I was living in New Mexico when the Hurricanes won the Cup in 2006, and I was living in Las Vegas when they played the Red Wings in 2001. So I was all the way on the other side of the country, and couldn't.
I was in what whatever the entertainment sports arena. That at the time when they were in the cup final, I want to say it was Game 6 against Edmonton.
Yes.
I mean, to me, the atmosphere of that game was amazing. Now, the one thing I was disappointed with was we didn't get the Stadium Series game that we were supposed to get at Carter Finley this year.
Oh,
Carolina was supposed to play at the stadium for the outdoor game. And I wanted that game so bad because it was Washington. And we, knowing us Southerners, we would have been tailgating with barbecue pit smokers and everything else for a hockey game.
Show them how we do hockey in the South.
And let me ask you guys a question. I just want you to nod. Is going to a hockey game like going to a Utah Jazz game?
No. No.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to know.
Rodney, you know what? Look, here's what we're gonna do. Rodney, we're gonna do a show called Rodney Needs to Go. So we're gonna take Rodney to a soccer game. We're gonna take him to a Charlotte FC game.
I've been to a soccer game before.
No, but what soccer games you go to?
It was like the Charleston Battery soccer.
Okay, okay. First off, anything in the world Charleston in sports don't exist. That doesn't make sense. All right. We're gonna go to a Charlotte FC game. No, the four of us will go. If we get Vince too, we'll find Vince too. We'll all go to a Charlotte FC game because I've covered MLS, and there's nothing like going to an MLS game.
The tickets are gonna be like $2,000 a piece.
Yeah. We might have to start a GoFundMe if you want.
No, we'll just go. We'll do what most cheap folks do in soccer games and get tickets to the supporter section. All right, that means we're standing for 90 minutes. Yes, we're standing.
Yeah.
We're standing.
Let me start getting in shape now.
Hey, that's how they do it overseas.
That's how they do it. And every team has. They have a supporter section where everybody stands. There's the drums. Everybody's drunk as all hell. But
hey, sign me up. I'm sold.
Yeah, I mean, from Orlando, what they did was in the supporter section, they literally. In Orlando State, they had a section called the Wall, and everybody stands. I mean, there's drumming section, there's people dancing, and in Florida, there was nothing but Brazilian and Spanish women all throughout the stadium.
Man.
Nope, I don't need to go. I think
you need to go. If that's the case,
there's nothing like going to an opening day for Orlando City. It's like it's nuts. I'm hoping Charlotte is the same way. I know we'll countrify it somehow. We'll do some version of it. But Nashville does great. Nashville puts in 40,000 a game. I know Atlanta does more than the Falcons do. So I know that.
That's not hard to believe.
Man, that's not hard.
I'm sorry. I mean, it's funny when Tepper opens the stadium up and then they'll do more than the Panthers will eventually.
Look. Speaking of opening stadiums up, do you guys think it's too early for full capacity?
My answer to that is it doesn't matter. That's my answer. Listen. People are tired of losing money, and if anybody's tired of losing money, it's David Tepper. It don't matter. That's it.
At some point, we're gonna have to do it. It's been almost 2 years. I mean, I'm not going to a game without a mask on. That's for sure. I'm not going without one. And I promise you, the first person that coughs on me, I'm spraying them down with Lysol. Hit him
with the elbow.
People, just because masks, the mask requirements are being eased up, does not mean you can breathe in my face in public again. Stop that.
You can breathe in my face, but I will Lysol you in the face. My wife carries Lysol in her purse.
If we talking without masks, you need to be
over here. You might as well call me my cell phone at this point.
Right? Yeah.
We have text conversations at the game.
Yeah, I mean, seriously. But I mean, at some point, we're going to have to go back to capacity.
I will say this though, with vaccinations on the rise, COVID numbers are slightly coming down or gradually coming down as vaccinations are on the rise. We have to be careful because the 1919 flu epidemic, the deadliest year was the year after. Why? Because they eased up on restrictions and everyone got comfortable. And what you're going to have now is you're going to have a mix of people who are vaccinated and a lot of people who are unvaccinated, but because they don't have to wear masks, are going to be mixing with that vaccinated crowd. And a lot of people say, well, these people are vaccinated. What does it matter? Well, the problem is that now you have a larger population of unvaccinated people that are still going to be exposed to the virus.
Yep.
I still wish they would still have the vaccinated, non-vaccinated sections like a lot of the NBA teams are still doing.
Yeah. People are afraid. They don't want that label. They don't want that, that stick where you got to prove that you. I'm okay with that. If they say, look, man, you got to prove that you.
Here you go.
Yeah, then I'm cool with that. I mean, if you're vaccinated, then why did you give a shit? So,
I mean, for those, I think for a lot of those people who are vaccinated are still scared of folks who are not vaccinated. I still think we still should go with the vaccinated, unvaccinated section. I think, but what you do is, I'm not saying to incentivize people for going. I think you make it 3/4 of the stadium vaccinated, and then 1/4 unvaccinated, and make sure the unvaccinated folks stay in their area of the stadium.
Right.
Make sure there's bathrooms.
Treat them like lepers.
Make sure there's a team store, and make sure there's some bathrooms and some concession stands over there. It's not the same as everybody else, but
hey, okay, I know we're out of time, but I do want to address this real quick. About NBA fans, y'all crazy.
Yeah, for real.
They opened this joint back up, and like the first week, we already got fans spitting on people, racial slurs, throwing stuff. Y'all, the problem is that this generation does not remember Malice at the Palace. They don't remember
Vernon Maxwell going in there and whooping.
Yes. But they better be glad, although I do think it's funny that Russell Westbrook was writhing on the ground in pain 30 seconds before somebody. He was ready. He was not injured when that popcorn hit him. He was like, okay, I'm ready to go. And whoever threw that popcorn is lucky that 6'3", 200-pound Russell Westbrook did not get up in the stands.
But is this anything new that we haven't seen before?
No, it's not. I do think it's a little bit overblown. Fans are going to be crazy.
I think this is kind of like a reflection of COVID. Here's what I mean by that. Everybody who's been cooped up in the house and not used to normal life don't know how to damn act now. Everybody's acting a monkey since we're quote unquote slowly getting back to normal. Now to this lady who spit on Trae Young, I really wonder, did Trae Young actually feel that? Because my thing is, if I feel that on me in these circumstances, I'm probably not playing the next game because I'm beating her ass. I'm sorry, dude. You cannot spit on me under any circumstance. I'm throwing the basketball at your head. I am choking you. Whatever. No, you cannot spit on me. No.
We know it's like, but I think athletes also saw, even if a lot of them don't remember the Malice at the Palace, I still think people know the ramifications. I think athletes are a lot more aware of the ramifications, like you said, Jamal, for literally losing your mind for 30 seconds and like stone cold stunning a fan because they spit on you. You guys think Ron Artest's career was never this? Ron had to change his name to get loved again. Ron Artest had to change his name. Steven Jackson basically became an NBA vagabond at that moment.
That incident changed not just the league, but all the professional sports.
To this day, if those guys would never had the incident in Detroit, I think the Pacers might have won the championship that year.
Oh, yeah.
That's how good they were.
They were deep. That was a deep team there. That team was loaded. Absolutely.
And that was healthy. That was healthy Jermaine O'Neal. Like healthy. I bought Jermaine O'Neal's shoes that year. Nike shocked Jermaine O'Neal's shoes. I still have it at home.
I remember them. I remember they were fire. They were fire.
He wore Nike shocks, but like fans losing their mind. This ain't nothing new. Philadelphia fans have been rooty and unruly for years. That's why they can't have nothing nice. Like Knicks fans. Like to Jamal's point, I think that they ain't about the house. They can spit at their TV. They can throw popcorn at their TV and it doesn't fight back. But I'm telling you, I wish someone would throw some popcorn at Myles Garrett and see what happens.
We got any shout outs or shout outs, y'all?
I just want to give a shout out to alerts in my phone. There's something developing that's quite interesting. The Falcons and the Seahawks are talking to Julio Jones trade. DK Metcalf and Julio Jones. Just kind of marinate on that. I'm gonna give a shout out to Danny for coming on the show, man. Appreciate you.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Shout out to just Memorial Day to veterans who laid down their lives. And just everybody, man. If you're traveling, be safe on the roads. Yeah, don't be in no rush, man. It's not that important. I promise you. That's it for me.
Danny, got any shout outs?
Shout outs to the three of you guys always for inviting me on the show and chopping up with you guys. It's been a minute.
Too long, man. Been too long, brother.
And we all got to get in the studio together one day and do this together as one big group.
Soon come.
Shout out to the missus upstairs because I know she's about to cuss me out because I was supposed to go get a haircut and I've been in this car for almost an hour.
No comment.
Listen, I mean, it's what it is. When you're married, you know how that life is. But also big shout outs to the Hornets fans that have been supporting the 3-point conversion for a while, and big shout outs to Cosmo for wearing that jersey because, like I said, we're about to win the Stanley Cup, and we'll get Jamal involved in hockey, but Rodney is a lot.
I know Jamal likes it. A lot of people.
I like it though.
Yeah, they don't understand the game.
I don't understand the damn thing.
The rules are not really that complex. They have changed some rules. Like I had to explain the blue line rule and the icing change rule. The icing always confuses people. And offsides in hockey is kind of confusing. Like, what if you're skating backwards and the puck, all kinds of stuff. But having said that, hockey's super exciting. The clock never stops. There's no other sport in which you have to do substitutions while the game is still going on. That's a ridiculous thing to have to strategize around. There are timeouts in hockey, but coaches don't call them. It's like, okay, all right, you guys hurry up, come in. All right, y'all, get off the ice. I mean, that's to me just keeps the action going. Plus, it's super violent. They'll be fighting. People get their necks cut open. How Americans don't like hockey more is just beyond.
Rodney, listen, Rodney. Here's what you do. Here's your assignment for today. Go on your Xbox and download NHL. I think 21. I think it's in the EA Play Store. All right. Go play the same way I told you about MLB The Show. I told you about the show. Go play NHL for the rest of the time over Memorial Day weekend. Go get the Hurricanes and just play the game. Don't do franchise. Just actually play the game, and you'll learn hockey.
Yeah, your first power.
I have too much on my plate to play video games. I can't tell you the last time I sat there and actually played.
Hey, Rodney, don't make me pull your Xbox profile up and post it on this damn screen.
No. On my Xbox profile, I watch my Netflix and my other stuff in there, and so it looks like I'm online, but I'm actually watching YouTube TV and everything else.
I want to thank you. Right. I want to thank you guys for reminding me of my shout at. I want to shout at Xbox. I can't find the damn Xbox, so I can't stand when y'all talk about the games you're playing on your Xbox because I can't find the damn Xbox. So shout at to Xbox for not making it available.
I got a one. I don't have the Xbox Series X. I still can't find one either.
I can't either.
I'm over here in PC land. Like, what the fuck y'all talking about?
Virtual reality, baby.
Hey, real quick shout out. Real quick shout out to the greatest weekend in motorsports every year, Coca-Cola 600 and the Indianapolis 500. I just think that's so awesome that they're on the same day.
Shout out Bubba Wallace.
Yes, no one has beat the $1 million challenge yet. There's a challenge if you can win Indy in the 600 on the same day. Tony Stewart came really, really close. You race in Indy, you take a plane or a chopper from Indianapolis to Charlotte, and then you race the 600. Anyone that can win, there's been a few investors that have said, I'll give $1 million to whoever can win both races. I would just love to see somebody do that in my lifetime. That would be one of the greatest feats in sports history that would get underrated because people don't really consider motorsports a sport. But to essentially race 1,000 miles plus in a day without dying, incredible. So.
Kazik, is that feat almost as bigger than Dion's feat playing an NFL game on the afternoon?
That was the kids don't know about what Dion did that day, and he played well in both games too. That was what was incredible. So yeah, I put it up there. Like I said, a lot of drivers have raced in both the Indy and the 600. No one's won both of those. I don't think that'll happen. It'd be almost impossible to win both of those races. But I love seeing drivers try. I love the whole weekend. I wish Formula One actually had a race this weekend, but typically they don't because they know that they're going to lose viewers to those two races. So.
All right, guys. Well, we've had a lot of fun today, as we can tell, because we are 10 minutes over, but it's all good, man, because we always enjoy doing this. Continue shout outs to the guys in the chat room. Always, man, your presence is valued more than we could ever tell you guys. Shout out to our brother, Danny Thompson. You are always welcome to come on this show. You are extended family. Shout out to my fellas. Shout out to everybody celebrating Memorial Weekend. You can invite me to cookouts later if you see fit. Shout out to don't look at me like that, Rodney. I'm vaccinated. All right, we will catch everybody next week, man. Keep loving each other, man, and we will see y'all later.
Real quick, our thoughts are with Greg Olson's family.
Absolutely.
As they go through a really difficult time with their son. We consider him to be a true charlatan, and we'll always appreciate what he did for the Carolina Panthers franchise.
No doubt.
And also shout out to Jamal. Maybe we get you a Carolina Panthers onesie in the future. All right, guys. Thank you for watching. You have a wonderful day.
I really hate you. All right.
Oh,
peace out.
Peace, y'all.